Ethan hadn't planned on moving back to his grandfather's farmhouse. The house had been empty for years, worn down by time and whispered about in town like a bad dream. But with a new job nearby and nowhere else to live, he had no choice. From the moment he stepped inside, something felt wrong. The air was heavy, like the house was holding its breath. Dust danced in the shafts of fading sunlight, and the floorboards creaked underfoot. In the living room, an ancient mirror hung above the fireplace. It was tall, with a dark, wooden frame carved into twisting lines and faces that seemed to leer at him when he wasn't looking. The first night was quiet, too quiet. As rain pounded the roof and thunder rumbled in the distance, Ethan sat staring at the mirror's cracked surface. At first, he saw only himself, tired, restless, the weight of the day showing in his eyes. Then, a movement behind his reflection caught his eye. A pale, gaunt man stood just behind him in the glass. His eyes were hollow and black, his lips stretched into a cruel smile. Ethan whipped around, but the room was empty. He laughed it off as a trick of the storm. But night after night, the man returned. Sometimes he was clearer, sometimes just a shadow. Each time, he edged closer, his smile growing wider, more malicious. One evening, Ethan tried to cover the mirror with an old blanket, but the man pressed his pale fingers through the fabric as if it were water. Ethan's skin crawled. He researched the house's history, uncovering stories about a distant relative who had disappeared, last seen near that very mirror. Some said the mirror was a prison, holding a vengeful spirit trapped for decades. On a cold, moonless night, Ethan sat before the mirror, heart pounding. The figure appeared again, this time stepping forward, cracking the glass with a loud snap. Ethan tried to back away, but the figure's hand reached out, grabbing his wrist with ice-cold fingers. "Let me out," the man whispered, his voice like dry leaves scraping. When the townsfolk found the farmhouse the next day, the mirror lay in splinters, but Ethan was nowhere to be found. Only the pale man remained, standing in the broken glass, smiling cruelly, finally free.